Okay, greetings. We're going to look at a problem here where we drop 10 grams of copper 2 sulfate into 500 mils of sodium phosphate solution. It dissolves into the solution, and we're going to assume there's no change in volume of the solution, and we're going to ask ourselves, does a chemical reaction occur? So the first thing we need to do, of course, is recognize what is the formula of copper 2 sulfate and sodium phosphate. So copper 2 has a Cu plus 2 cation, and sulfate is an SO4 minus 2 anion, so they're a 1-to-1 ratio. So we have CuSO4, and we're going to put a parenthesis here. Then we're going to, this is going to react with sodium phosphate. Sodium is Na plus, phosphate is PO4 minus 3. So we're going to make Na3PO4, and we're going to put a parenthesis here. Now, this is a double displacement reaction, and they swap partners, okay? So the copper plus 2 reacts with the phosphate. So I'm going to write over here the copper plus 2 and the SO4 minus 2, and here I'm going to write the Na plus and the PO4 minus 3. So we're going to make sodium phosphate and sodium sulfate and copper plus 2 phosphate. So we need this to be neutral. So if we have a charge of 3 here and we have 3 of these, that's a plus 6. If we have a charge of minus 3 and we have 2 of these, that's minus 6. So the formula of copper 2 sulfate is Cu3PO4 and then the formula of the sodium sulfate is Na2SO4. Now we go and apply our solubility rules. We know all salts of alkali metals are AQ, and this was actually an aqueous solution to start with. If we go to our solubility rules, rule 2b I believe it is, we see that copper sulfate is aqueous. If we go to rule 3, we see that this is a solid, and S stands for precipitate, not solution. And then we see that all salts of alkali metals are aqueous, so this is AQ. So this is our equation. Now if we want to ask ourselves what chemistry happens, we need to look at the net ionic equation. Now the sodium sulfate ions are aqueous. So sodium is a spectator ion, it's aqueous from both sides, and sulfate is a spectator ion. But what happened when we dropped the copper 2 sulfate is that the copper plus 2 ion, 3 of them, reacted with 2 of the phosphates to form Cu3PO4, and a precipitate occurred. Okay, you may quit now.